So now's the part of the show where we do the soft open, and I thought I'd get your thoughts on last week's Shuffle Stuff segment. What was your favorite part of Shuffle Stuff, Chris? Since you're the guest on the show, this is your second time here, I really want to get your thoughts on it. I need feedback, and I need it from a trusted friend. So the Shuffle Stuff cinema section last time, what did you think about that?
I didn't agree with it. Personally, I'm not a Cupid Shuffle kind of guy. Just because I don't like
Cupid,
dancing.
huh?
Yeah,
like dancing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not talking about that kind of shuffling.
No, I'm talking about the segment from last week's episode.
You're not one of those Luigi shot first people, are you?
Luigi shot first?
Did Luigi have to shoot to kill in the moment is what I was wanting to get to, because I know that's the most controversial part of this.
Right.
It kind of changes Luigi's whole deal.
When he killed Mario, I get that.
No, it wasn't Mario.
It wasn't Mario. He missed Mario. If you remember back to the episode, he did shoot to kill. Do you think it was worthy?
Probable cause
of that decision.
It was a probable cause. He had all reason. It was self-defense.
Self-defense. It's exactly
He was well out of range of danger.
Well, defense of a third party and self-defense could technically be the same thing in the eyes of the law.
Okay.
So, but I mean, this is just the idea, and then Michael Jordan being voiced by Shaq.
Dude, I swear to God, if this is real,
I love having just regular listeners as guests on the show. This is going to be great.
I'm such a regular listener.
I know. You're the best. Hey, everybody. I'm Dane Holland, and man, I hope you swipe right.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and it's a bittersweet symphony.
I'm Marcus,
the hybrid,
known as I Am Electric Man.
Well, I'm Austin Tiny Zent, and don't be a Karen unless your name is Karen, and then defy the stereotype.
This is Christopher John Odom, and the gods are among us.
Yeah, they are, as is our guest Grape on Nerd It Through the Grapevine, a podcast where four best friends, sometimes five, gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture.
You know, the thing about nerds, and the thing about I guess it could involve anybody really, is you got to have snacks.
I prefer runts over nerds.
Yeah, nerds are gross.
Runts
What?
are... Wait,
Dude,
runts
nerds are so good. What are you talking about?
Wait, runts and nerds are different?
Yeah.
What are runts?
Wait,
I don't know. This is your topic.
It's a small dog in a litter.
Yeah, except the banana ones, they're bullshit.
No, runts are... Oh, I get you. Yeah. I was thinking of... Never mind. No, what I'm talking about is like you got to have your snacks. And here recently, I've discovered a snack that has just been amazing for me because I love... Number one, Austin loves chocolate.
This is a fact.
Like, it's like Kel with orange soda. Is it true? Mm-hmm. I do. Ooh, love chocolate. So I've discovered these little chocolate-covered frozen fruits from a brand called Tru Fru.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and I'm sorry, I think it's like Finnish or something Icelandic, the way they spell it with the U with two dots above it and the U with two dots above it.
Well, it's definitely not Finnish because Finland doesn't exist and neither do birds.
Tiny's made this.
I recently discovered that some people believe baseball doesn't exist. So it's okay. So it's I've had two types of them. I've had the strawberry that is covered in white chocolate and then covered again in dark chocolate. And then I've got the bananas that are covered in peanut butter and then covered in milk chocolate.
And
And
that was good.
And these things are hyper frozen.
Hyper frozen.
Hyper chilled is what they call it. And I'm like, whoa, bro, I dig that. So
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Basically what they do is they take them as they're in there, and there's this like there's a video of their two different types of snacks that they sell on their website. So if you go to the Tru Fru website, you can watch the process of how they make them in a produced way, like a cinematically produced way. So, like, I don't think it's actually.
Does it make them taste better?
Like, I
to
don't
watch them get made.
It's directed by Michael Bay.
I mean, there's no explosions and stuff happening, but I think I saw
Explosions of flavor.
Actually, I think it was Abrams because I saw a lens flare too many. So it's a
Great sound design, I'm telling you.
To be honest, I just have a question. So it's just fruit covered in chocolate.
Almost. So what happens is you have the fruit that is fresh, and the problem with preservation of fresh fruits whenever you're doing anything like dehydration or freezing is you either don't freeze it quick enough and it degrades the quality of the fruit that you have. The standard freezing processes actually degrade the nutrients you get inside of fruits. I believe it was like that you only get like 40% of the nutrients after a fruit's been standardly frozen, as opposed to doing what they do, which is they put it through a coating process with their chocolates, and the chocolates have a good balance to them, so they seal in the freshness of the fresh fruit, and then they put that immediately, all of it, into a hyper chiller, which is negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit.
So it's freeze dried.
Exactly.
Then why you got to give it some crazy term like it's hyper chill?
Because
Man,
it
it's
is called
freeze-dried.
it is called marketing.
Is it still not? Well, there's chocolate.
It's coated in chocolate.
Yes.
You still get the fruit part. Almost sounds like a fruitcake to me.
It is.
No.
I've never.
It's not
not enough
fruitcake.
alcohol for it to be a fruitcake.
I just met this boy and I like him already. So, do you get 9 times more power?
No, but you do get
Also,
9 times more
elevated
flavor.
hand slap.
You met him last time. He was on the show.
No, I didn't.
No.
He was in Tiny's place. Remember,
Yeah, I
he was in
Tiny's
that
place.
chair.
Nope. Don't remember that at all.
Marcus is never here for the episodes, besides being here to record the episodes.
So this candy.
It's real fruit. All it is real fruit. But
Right.
the thing is, it's so much sweeter to me than just eating a strawberry because it's coated in actual chocolate, and the sweetness permeates the fruit, strengthening its natural fruity flavor. Like, it's great, and it doesn't add extra sweetness to the caloric balance of it. Like, the serving size of 2 pieces of it are like 7 grams of carbs. So I mean, it's not too rough, and that's before it's subtracted. Your fiber and stuff that it's got in there. So it's like 2 grams of net carbs per serving.
So the big question is, if I was to consume some of these fruit juice, what would it do to my number 2s?
I don't know. I mean, what do antioxidants? I'm smacking it, boys. I'm popping an
Daddy.
antioxidant. It's an antioxidant. Yeah. If you don't consume a lot of them, it will make your body say like, "Oh my God, look at these free radicals! I must purge them," and you might get diarrhea.
Basically, I'm trying to build a bigger poo.
Oh, you're trying to build a bigger poo. Okay,
Yeah.
you need to eat a lot of the peanut butter banana chocolate covered ones. Just a lot of those. I feel like that peanut butter in there would just block you.
Yeah, because like you saw the one and you saw how glorious that one was.
No, I saw how squared off the edges were on it.
Yeah,
so
I mean that's talent. I want one that's twice the size of that.
Impossible. Humanly
I
impossible.
want the similar shape, except I'm gonna add a twist to it.
And the technical like level for freeze drying that they use is actually on their other line because that's negative 50 degrees. So at that, it takes a longer time, but the way that they actually do their formulations on their chocolate, which is still real chocolate, it's not got anything crazy added to it. They just found the right mixture. It coats it and allows it to maintain its fruit structure. So it doesn't become like this globule that you have to reinsert like maltodextrin or any kind of sugaring like into it to reflavor it.
Globule's a great word.
Huh?
Globule is a great word.
Yeah.
If I knew what it meant, I would be impressed.
Well,
I super big question about this. How big are they? Like, when you say banana, is it like a full banana?
oh no,
or is
it's
it like
it's a
the slice?
sliver.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Sliver slice of banana
I
with
was
the
like,
peanut
that's
butter
a
coating
lot.
around it, with the chocolate coating around the peanut butter.
I don't like this idea that chocolate's not healthy.
Yeah.
I disagree 100%. It may not be physically healthy, but it is mentally.
It's good for the soul.
It's very therapeutic.
Technically speaking, if you're eating anything that's over an 80% cacao chocolate, it is rich in antioxidants and good for your heart.
I knew
But
it.
that's my sweet side. And the bittersweet part of my symphony
Oh, no.
is talking about something that brings back a lot of memories. And we've talked about this previously on the podcast, but that 70s show.
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
I hope you do, because it made me very happy to find out
It
that.
made me kind of sad. But go ahead.
Why?
Just you say it first.
What, Kurtwood and Deborah Jo, Red and Kitty Foreman are going to be featured in a Netflix television show that has just recently, as of today, actually been announced. That 90s show where their grandchild, the daughter of Eric and Donna Foreman, comes to stay with them for the summer and gets to relive some of the shenanigans and the places that her dad actually got to have all these shenanigans and things. So there's no sign-ons as of now as to whether Ashton or Milo or all of them, Topher,
$100
Lauren.
actors now. So
Now Danny's not going to be in it. Danny Masterson's not going to be. He's not too much bad stuff happening with him.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that,
he's
too.
away.
He's
For a
away,
long time.
and for good reason.
Yeah.
Yes. Sounds like it.
But then you've got like Midge, who is Donna's mother, and the actress that played Midge actually passed away last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, and she was also famous for being one of the Charlie's Angels too. So
She was one of the original Charlie's Angels.
see.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
And she was also she was a Bond lady in one of the films, and I forget which film off the top of my head.
I don't even know who or what you're really talking about right now.
You've never seen that 70s show?
I've seen an episode here and there, not enough to know characters or anything. I know there was like marijuanas in there, so it's going to be about the mean dad who's actually pretty cool. Because anytime he showed up, I was like, "Oh, it's mean dude."
Red Foreman's awesome. I love Red Foreman.
Squeaky voice woman with a child smoking marijuanas.
Yes, and seeing the wallpaper melt, because that's what marijuana does to a human.
Well, they might end up on a slab and have Bugs Bunny be like, "No,
Don't you dare.
don't you do
Chris,
it."
you remember that from last week's episode?
Nothing's
cool
about my favorite episode I've ever seen about Bugs Bunny.
Hold on. How did you see our podcast?
Heard.
You just said you saw it.
I have action figures of all of you guys that I set up in my room. So
Are we to scale?
no, not to scale. You're a Ninja Turtle.
Okay.
He's one of the killer sharks from the old toys, and Dane is a Professor X in a wheelchair that I have.
Okay.
I like
And
it.
then Marcus is a homeless man that I just built out of cardboard.
I'm
It
so on
suits-
board for this.
It suits our personality so very well.
Are we also anatomically correct?
No, they're very wrong.
Yeah, well, he turned the turtle shell around, and that little bump on the back, he made your hernia.
Don't you talk about Billy like he's not here.
He's always with us.
Oh, no. Don't touch it. Do not touch it. I'm sitting directly across
I'm gonna throw
from-
up.
Put it away.
It's the initiation for all
yeah.
I just got really excited though, finding out about that 90s show being a thing, because I feel like a continuation of that story would be really nice, and seeing a new generation's take on, that's probably the same kind of issues, but they'd have a different approach to it because it's so many years later. But also we'd be going through all the stuff that we talk about on this freaking podcast, because they're going to have these kids growing up in the early 90s, experiencing stuff as kids did in the 90s, and that's going to be us. That's what we did. That's where we were. Not actually in Point Place, Wisconsin, but you know what I mean.
Injecting marijuanas in grandma and grandpa's basement.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Wait, how old is the kid?
I don't know. That's not been confirmed. And, all the other people haven't been confirmed, just the general synopsis, and that Deborah Jo Rutt and that Kurtwood Smith would be reprising the roles as Red Foreman and Kitty Foreman.
Were you laughing at synapses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, synopsis. Synapses are the things that connect your
In
eyes.
the brains.
Yeah, I know. Matt corrected me on that several times, and if he ever
Still not
listens to the
working.
podcast again, he'll get mad at me for it.
He'll scream into his radio.
That 70s show was always fun for me. I typically don't like sitcoms like that. I really did like that 70s show. But for some reason, I just feel like it's just not going to work out. Because I didn't even like the last few seasons of that show either.
And I agree with you on that, because I feel like it's going to do a Girl Meets World kind of feel of how they did Boy Meets World, but the Netflix one, and it's Girl Meets World with the girls, and the mom as the moms now that were played
I had no
back.
idea that was a
Yeah,
thing.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that was a
it's
thing either.
awful. It's,
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't they do Saved by the Bell over again too? Didn't they do some? more of that?
Yeah, they also did a Degrassi,
it's
and
just-
like there was something else they did that was like just real
Just make
shitty.
something new.
I thought that
Yeah,
was just Screech's side project.
Screech is dead.
And we did
I
not
know,
do that.
And he did a movie about, scatological events.
The boy in the striped pajamas.
I don't know what they called it.
But it was exciting to me though, just because I want to revisit that place. I don't really because the way that it ended wasn't very good for me, because that whole last season with Randy just didn't do a very good job for me. The long haired guy that was just a very very dry actor and not very good character for the way that he replaced Topher Grace, who was Eric Foreman. And,
can't do that.
and you can't just do that, because Eric himself, oddly enough, he left that 70s show, that final season, so he could actually pursue the production of Spider-Man 3. And Spider-Man 3 kind of wrecked his acting career, and
Yeah.
that sucks big feet.
But then he got to do Valentine's Day and all those kind of movies. But like his career is kind of boosted because of Spider-Man 3.
What has he done here recently?
American Ultra with
Jesse
Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart.
Was he the bad
like,
boy?
I like Topher Grace. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't have anything against him. I just think that, it wrecked that last season to try to replace him with another character that did not have the chemistry that he did with the rest of the characters.
Right.
And that's kind of what wrecked the whole season for me. Now, did it have its golden moments? Yes. But I just
just not
didn't-
the same show.
It's not.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of, it's been a long time now since I've had so much time to just rewatch. Like, I want to revisit these places visually, and it's nostalgia.
I'm sure those two actors will nail it. I'm sure they'll
And
get
it's
back
not
into
like
their
Wilmer
roles pretty
Valder.
quick.
What's his name? Wilmer Valderrama. Is that it?
I have no idea.
This like a Futurama character.
Valderrama.
I don't know.
Thought it was
I don't know the
Lee,
deep
Coca.
cuts.
Oh, Wilmer Valderrama. Fez.
Yeah,
His
I know
name.
Fez. Oh, that's his. Oh, I thought you were referencing a character in the show that Fez
No.
introduced.
No, I was
Oh,
actually-
okay.
you
'Cause I was
know.
like, that's a deep cut. I don't get it.
No, it was Fez, and then Ashton Kutcher. He would be probably game. Same thing with Mila Kunis.
How is one character a hat?
Huh? Fez. Oh, it's actually FES, and they pronounce it as a Z, and it stands for foreign exchange student, but they never actually discuss that.
Oh,
I don't think his real name's ever told
No,
either.
it is
That's
one
funny.
time.
and every time he
That is the
tries
first
to
time I've
tell
heard
them where
that.
he's from, like some sort of sound effect happens to where you can't hear him.
Yeah, and he says his name one time in the show, but they can't pronounce it, like, because it's of course his made up language from the country he never talked about where he's from. So, yeah, but yeah, 90s.
Yeah,
That's us.
that was some sweet stuff.
I hate you.
so sweet.
You're the one that did it. But anyway, I watched Sweet Tooth. So, I started watching it with my niece. It may be a little too old for she's 9. So it was, I don't know. I was actually kind of surprised at how dark they actually went with it. Because it is kind of one of those supposed to be kind of family friendly, kind of heartwarming, heartfelt stories. And I think the first few episodes are actually pretty good, and they got me to the end of the season. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of just wanted to get y'all's thoughts on it, because I think that it definitely suffers from being a little too sweet. Like I said, like it's just like, oh, look at me, I'm cute, and like, I don't know. But there is some good aspects to it as well.
What are your favorite aspects to
And
it?
I was surprised to learn that it was actually a comic book. I was actually with my niece in Books A Million looking around, and I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, comic book. I shouldn't be surprised anymore, because like they're making all kinds of adaptations now.
The artwork in it's really good too.
Could you explain
Yeah,
Sweet Tooth
it-
to me? Like, I'm so confused what Sweet Tooth is.
Okay, Sweet Tooth is like, it's pretty popular on Netflix, right? I mean,
Yes.
it was like in the top like 10 at some point.
Yeah, for a good couple weeks.
Yeah, so it's kind of like this dystopian fantasy where a virus kind of ravages the human population, and children start being born as these hybrid beings, like where they've got animal parts. So it's like there's this little pig girl with a pig nose, there's a deer boy with antlers and ears, and he's actually the main character. His name's Gus. But
What about Bobby?
Bobby's cool.
great.
He was like a puppet, right?
Yeah, but man, there are a couple things with Bobby in there that I was like, if you hurt Bobby, I'm coming through the TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. The themes, I think, really ring true. The guy that plays Jeopard is, for me, the best part of the show by far.
So good.
What did you ask me? What my favorite parts of it?
Yeah.
I think the dark aspects. I think they've handled that very well, like kind of making this family-friendly movie. But yet, this takes place in a horrific situation when it comes to mankind. But like I said, those themes are kind of ringing true, for modern audiences, and for young people who are growing up in this world.
Right.
I think are some really relevant stuff right now. And it's kind of like a good starter fantasy for like a kid who's kind of ready to deal with some of those darker aspects of it.
You had mentioned the too sweetness part of it, and I think what you're getting at there is the themes are so dark and dangerous, and what's happening in the world is so awful, and yet nothing, like, you don't see really anything bad happen to the characters. Like, they all make it through whatever they're getting through.
Yeah.
As I remember, I think.
Well, yeah, so far.
Like, there are like people out hunting down these children to kill
There was
them.
one thing where this kind of like very side character, like you get him for a scene, and they dispose of him in a pretty horrific way.
Right.
You don't see anything graphic.
No.
It always does a little camera shift, or you'll see somebody reacting to the horrible thing. But and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's these graphic things are happening. You just don't have to show that on screen to kind of still appeal to a wider audience. But apparently that's not the case in the comic books. The comic books are apparently like way darker, way more violent, way more adult.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I really enjoyed that one character. He
Tiny's never seen
it
the
wasn't
He's never seen
a
the show.
main
He's
character.
making up a character right
He
now.
just
Hold
kind of
on
like
your seats.
come in there, and I just really enjoyed the animation style of this.
Animation style. It's
animation.
live.
Like,
It's
it
live
was-
actors. It's actual
It
actors.
wasn't too anime drawn. They
It's-
looked
there's
pretty
no anime.
realistic, which was awesome.
Right.
There
Because it
wasn't
was.
a bunch of like pointless, needless screaming like is in most
It wasn't an
animes.
anime.
It's
And
live action.
I thought it was kind of cool. Like when they found the tank and they met the dude with the buzz cut.
Those were
he was dope.
No, there's a
He was
tank.
all like,
the guy with the buzz cut. There was
He
a
was
tank.
awesome.
And he did have a
Are you talking
gravelly
about
voice.
Fury right now?
Oh, dang.
He might
Yeah.
have seen parts.
You guessed the
Hey,
character.
let him keep going. He might guess a few more.
Yeah.
I've literally never even heard of this, much less seen anything about it.
Well,
I want to know if
we're on the
I
same
want to
page
know
with
if
that,
he's
Tony.
got mystical powers. I'm sorry, Chris. What were you saying?
I'm just saying, me and Tony are on the same page about that. I have
Oh,
no idea
okay.
what the hell Sweet Tooth is.
Well, like I said, post-apocalyptic world where these animal hybrid beings are being born, so they're all very young.
Animorphs.
Yeah, something like that.
But
I
they
think
got cut off halfway between their morphing. So it's like they're still human, but they have animal features.
and they
Vomit
actually
Rider.
become like a second-class citizen, like they're hunted, and sold as like basically.
Livestock.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's more of just like it's more of the men. They call themselves the Last Men. It's like this military organization that starts rounding them up to cage them, to experiment on them, because they think that their last hope for human survival lies with whatever kind of thing created these hybrids
Science
to be able to
experiment.
solve the virus.
I want to know if he's got spiritual powers connected to this.
Definitely hints at
spirit.
that, for
Just
sure.
like, there's like this deer spirit that he keeps connecting to, and he's got the most animalistic / human blend of all of them, besides maybe the pig girl.
Well, because he's the
Well, and
oldest
Bobby.
too. Isn't he the oldest living
Yes,
one?
it does kind of.
He was the
it
first.
might be a little spoiler, but it's kind of alluded to that he's one of the first.
No,
for sure.
Bobby is almost like straight up gopher.
Right, but he
Like-
can
Yeah.
talk. He's like one of the few that can actually speak.
Yeah.
but he can't speak very well.
Right.
But anyway, you asked me, or you said something about the Too Sweet. For
You had
me, I
mentioned
think
that,
the
yeah.
Too Sweet is not necessarily not showing the dark aspects, because I think it does fairly well at balancing the dark aspects with like the kind of hopeful, cheerful kind of family adventure feel that they're going for, which is vastly different from the source material. But I don't know. It's just there's a lot of scenes where it's just like, aren't I cute?
Oh yeah.
I love chocolate.
Marcus, don't
Remember?
you dare.
Of course. I mean, I
Don't-
love chocolate too.
If you had horns and you were a child,
It's a really cute kid. Yeah.
you
But like I was bored for a lot of times because it's like they didn't get on with the story. Like it took way too long to get to Jeopard's story, I think.
Yeah.
But one thing I think they did really good with him, and more shows need to do this, because I feel like a lot of newer stuff suffers from just like the bland protagonist that's like good at everything. They're so great and everybody loves them all the time. But it's like Jeopard here is like not a good person.
No.
He's not a likable person. But he's the best part of the show from the first time he steps onto screen, because you show him making maybe bad decisions, but he keeps getting closer and closer. There's good in him. They show you at least that much.
Well, he has the most character development of anybody.
Right.
Like,
But it's
even
like
the
I'm
main
so
character.
sick of all these main characters like not having anything wrong with them.
It kind of makes me think of what it would be like, and this is not gonna. You probably won't get this, but you're gonna get this, Dane. Marcus won't get this, and I don't. And yeah, maybe Chody over here might. So it reminds me the relationship between Jeopard and Sweet Tooth. Their connection is like if child Goku was found by adult Vegeta, who had already.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying.
So
Right.
you've got this hardened warrior who has done horrible things in his life and has nothing, and he wants to just move past. He wants to move on, from his past to keep surviving. Basically, he has to move on from his past, and he finds this innocent young thing that he had previously killed so many other types like him, but instead he's taken him under his wing and is kind of protecting him. So it makes me think like, if Sweet Tooth is going to grow with Jeopard, it's weird. It's with a J, right? Mm-hmm. Jep. Is that what they call him? Jep?
He calls him Big Man, actually.
Okay, yeah, big man works too. Spider on the wall, giant spider on the wall. So,
Oh, that's terrifying.
Nobody panic. Nobody panic.
Marcus, you did. Now-
spiders don't fall. That legitimately.
Did we just take his powers away?
I don't know, but I'm sorry. I screamed in the podcast, but I'm watching this. I was watching the spider crawl up the wall, and it instantly lost.
They
its
see
clean.
me.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Anyway, but that would be the analogy.
Did it make it clear that he actually has killed hybrids in the show, though?
Because he was part of the first men,
Right,
And
so
that's
I
what
think
they
he's done
do.
some bad things, but I don't think it ever expressly told us that he's killed children.
the last men. What do they do?
Sure, but was he the guy that's pointing the gun, shooting children?
I bet he hunted them down and gave, because they weren't trying to.
But to say
kill
we
them.
we don't know enough
Trying
about
to
him yet.
experiment on him. Yeah.
Right, and so
Yeah.
my theory is that, well, if we're gonna have to spoil the show, so if you don't want the show spoiled, skip ahead a few seconds. My theory is that his child that was born as a hybrid that he lost, I think he joined the last man to try to find out what they had done with him.
Which was the pig girl.
Gotcha.
No, it was a goat.
Yeah, it was goat.
Oh,
It was
I
goat
forgot.
It was
baby.
a little goat
We haven't
or
seen
goat
it.
girl or boy. I can't. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, little
But
goat
the
baby.
pig girl is the sister
Yes.
of the other girl who was in another show and did way better in that show. Anyway,
Thanks, Marcus. Your friends are correct about your assessments of shows.
I'm just confused personally. Is it live action or animated?
yes, it's live action.
It's live action.
But it was originated in comic book form,
Oh, okay,
and that
so-
is the way more graphic and apparently it's pretty dark. But I've not read those.
Jeff Lemire is involved with that. I think he was the writer. He was the creator.
Yeah,
I believe.
Well, apparently
so.
he's and Robert Downey Jr. apparently produces the show, but the guy that you're talking about, the one that wrote it, apparently had signed off on some of the liberties that they've taken with it because they've changed it quite a bit from the comic book origins. Sweet Tooth, yay! It's decent.
I'm interested now to watch
Yeah,
it.
it's decent.
I'm interested.
It's
I said, it's kind of a starter fantasy if you're trying to get your little nieces or nephews into.
It's an
into some
urban fantasy
stuff.
because
Yeah.
right. I mean, it's
Kind of like a modern fantasy, yeah,
yeah, it's good.
and with relevant themes of the time.
And this is the part of the show where Malcolm comes on and he talks about, because this is the middle of the show and I'm creating this character named Malcolm, and he's who comes on and gives us, he tells the fans this other podcast that's really great. So Malcolm's got something, but I won't tell everybody else that I'm making him up. I mean, this time, but not everybody's going to listen to this episode. So in the future, you're going to be like, oh, who's Malcolm? We've never met him before. But if you remember the episode with Chris, the second episode with Chris, it's when I say Malcolm is a made-up man. He's not real, but he appears in the middle of the episode because it's a play on this show.
Are you trying to reference something?
Malcolm in the Middle.
Uh,
It's a TV show.
Is this like an Oreo cookie?
But forget the cream. Yeah, it's the cream of our show. Malcolm's
Gross.
here. Yeah, here we go. Malcolm's here with the cream, everybody, and the cream this week. You're gonna really dig it. Here's a promo to check it out.
In space, no one can hear you scream. Unless you have a podcast. It's Space Castle! Join three nerds.
I'm PT.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Seth.
As they hurtle through space, debating movies, books, games, and answering your pop culture questions. All to maintain their own sanity. Space Castle, your clubhouse and ours for all things nerdy. Available wherever pods are casted.
Yeah. Speaking of children, Chris Hansen. So
Is he here?
no, see,
Big
okay,
fan.
just a little,
don't you sit right
just
over
a
there?
little behind the scenes.
Uh-huh.
I bricked my phone today,
Okay.
which means I dropped it and my screen stopped working. So what I had for my topic no longer exists because I remember nothing about it. So birthed from just sitting here, I was like, Chris Hansen, because he's awesome. He is a true unsung hero. I watched an interview with him on the podcast, Your Mom's House, and it was actually a pretty fascinating interview. That man caught over 500 horrible, disgusting people. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I grew up watching To Catch a Predator.
Yep.
The best episodes is where they tased that motherfucker, you know, and Chris Hansen has some kind of like crazy superpower because like he, you know, for anybody that hasn't watched it, sleazebag, horrible POS dude shows up at a house to do bad, horrible things with a child that you should never do, and you deserve to if you want to do those things. And they come in and they have a person posing as this child that this nasty, horrible person was messaging horrible things online with. And they usually get them to sit down in a kitchen because I guess it's just usually by the door. And the child walks out of the room to like, hey, I gotta go pee or something. And then Chris Hansen walks in. And the guy's like, oh, of course, the dad shows up. And so the guy gets up, hey, man, I wasn't going to do nothing. He's like, if you could have a seat, please. And every time that man sits, well, I should say that individual because you're not a man. If
There's
you
a
do that
couple
kind
of them
thing.
that actually did kind of just dart and run, though.
And the
Because
police
And they
wait
got
outside.
tased because
Yeah.
every time I'm going, come on,
I hope they
taser,
run.
taser, taser,
Because
taser.
and that's the bad thing.
Shoot him.
Because
Yes.
even though I am not an awful person like these people, I have watched enough of the clips that I would think, you know, like, oh man, if Chris Hansen walked in right now, I'd be running. Like I'm not having a conversation with this dude. He's like on their watch list. He's on their watch list. Like, have you seen him around town? Have you heard anything about him being around? Have you
Any
been keeping
sightings?
watch? All right.
Yeah. And in the interview, Chris Hansen kind of goes into some detail kind of behind the scenes of how they do it. He's obviously not going to divulge everything because he's still doing investigations now. He's actually posting new ones on YouTube. And so you can still watch it. And it was originally going to be a single segment on 60 Minutes as kind of like a public service announcement kind of thing. Like, hey, you need to watch what your kids are doing online because there's scumbags out there trying to harm your kids. And like ratings, and it just took off and became its own show, which is awful that it did. But it's great that people like Chris Hansen and his crew are out there to help protect people's children from these terrible people.
Yeah, because as much as we use the internet to like our benefit, hold on, I'm
slap
not.
it.
It hurts.
Well.
Still,
Yeah, go ahead.
internet to our benefit.
I'm not going to say it because
So-
we're talking about kids.
Oh.
No, but what I'm saying is, as much as we talk about using the internet to our benefit, talking about all this information at our fingertips to be able to explore all these things in our minds that we're trying to dust off or trying to polish up or trying to, find things to talk about. It's fun, but the internet is also a dangerous place. And that is something that, absolutely gets pointed out very well on To Catch a Predator, because all of these things, I think pretty much all of these things take place over internet messaging apps or internet messaging, just in general, just of one profile to another. And they're well aware the entire time of how old this individual is. It's not like a shock and surprise. She's not like, oh, I'm 18 years old. You can and then they show up and she's like, well, actually, I'm 17. So don't say anything. It's nothing. That would be bad too. You just GTFO. You didn't know any better. These people knew better.
That he works in conjunction with the police investigating these predators. He actually had one that he showed up at the house, and then he was in the middle of doing his legal case, and like within maybe a week he shows up at another house, and there's Chris Hansen again, and Chris Hansen looks up and he's like, really?
Yep. I've seen a lot of it. I've probably seen every one of them that has ever been made, unless he's making new ones.
Yeah, he is on YouTube.
And there's actually a lot of other like people that make content on the internet of catching predators like that. So he's kind of spawned a whole new genre of like internet
superheroes.
justice.
Yeah, it's like a real life superhero.
There's
kind of thing.
one.
Perverted Justice is the one that he always used on the show.
Is he the one that beats the?
Yeah.
No. Perverted Justice is the one that Chris Hansen always used on How to Catch a Predator.
That's what
they
he
were
called
like
it.
Yeah, they were like a
Okay,
decoy.
yeah.
So they would go out there and pretend to be children
Yeah.
who were like home alone and stuff to try to attract these
Gotcha.
kind of people.
Gotcha.
I don't think any of us here in this room could fool anybody into thinking that we were a kid.
Well, no, it's like an
I think I probably
thing.
could.
I don't know. If you look
through
in my
text,
office,
through text, you probably could.
a picture of my office looks like a 12-year-old's room.
Bet. This is lit.
Oh,
the
Chris.
things that draw
Oh,
them in.
Christopher.
Do you have a TikTok?
This is fire.
Radical.
God, I hate that so
That's
much.
Whoa.
so bogus.
Bossa Nova.
Yeah.
Are we gonna boogie tonight?
Cowabunga, dude.
Dead giveaway. How old are you, dude?
Old enough to do it.
Feeling so groovy.
So out of a fallen phone blackout brick, we get to Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen. And honestly, I oftentimes upon just name mentioning alone, I get confused between him and the guy that is the host or the former host of The Bachelor.
Yeah, I also get that confused every
What's-
time because
what's-
it's Chris
Harrison.
Chris Harrison. I always call him Chris Hansen though.
Yeah.
And that like every episode of The Bachelor is just the Catch a Predator episode.
I mean, it's not far off.
And that's what it is.
If you want it to be to catch a good buzz, just every time they say the word vulnerable, just take a drink.
Ooh. Or I love
be
you.
dead.
Or I think I'm falling in love with you. I always love that one. That's funny.
Emotions.
Or I can see myself falling in love with you. That's a great one too, because that's like that's the bait, the hook, and the like. I'm just waiting on the jerk, but not until the fantasy suite.
Yeah.
Why don't you just use the words "in love"? Because if you really want to get drunk, just use "in love" because that fits into so many of those phrases that you just said.
Yeah, but day one, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, God.
I
Day
mean,
25, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, like it's
I'm
only
just
a
here looking
month
for
long.
love. Love is all I need. Love, love, love.
I mean, just do it with water. You just have to pee a lot. Also, good luck transitioning, bud. How you go from that
Well,
to your thing?
Since we're talking about heroes and stuff, Chris Hansen must be part of the Justice League. I want to speak about something that came into my life recently from Dane, me and him just talking about it. heroes killing heroes. A little series I like to call Injustice.
No one else likes to call it that, though, right?
No,
Just you.
only me. The
You like to
original.
call it that,
I
right,
wrote
right,
it.
The rest of them just say God's Among Us afterwards too, right?
No, but I only say Injustice. Okay, because there's only Injustice in this series.
That's straight
Tiny,
fire.
I don't know if you've read any of Injustice at all.
No.
Marcus, I know
Nope.
you
I'm not
haven't.
read or played
Or
any of
done
it.
it. any
But
of
I'm
this.
interested in the story.
Well, the new movie is coming up next week on the 19th. An animated movie for this entire series. It's in my opinion, the darkest DC comic series I've ever read. I fell in love with it. I cried during it. I laughed. It was perfect to me. It made me hate Marvel more than anything. After this, I think the only thing good about Marvel right now is literally Spider-Man, and that's the only thing. I hate the rest of it.
Come on.
Because, dude, if you just read,
that doesn't
this
mean you have to
DC
hate it.
I can.
if you want, but
I
you
hate
don't have
sexual
to.
predators.
Hold on.
That's different entirely.
Hold on one damn minute. You're telling this man that he can't hate something? You, the throne of hatred of all media
Right?
content.
What? I don't hate it. I don't hate Marvel
Well, that's
just because something else is good too.
Yes, this just made me
Anyway,
dislike.
get to your topic.
Hate's a very strong
What
word.
he's saying is it set his
I
bar so
understand.
much higher,
I understand.
right?
I need
right.
something because this Injustice series is super dark, and it's this is just all spoilers. I don't know if you guys care about this. If you guys want to skip over this,
Spoil
please
it.
skip
Let's go.
This can be a long segment.
Probably make me want to read it more.
It's been around for a while.
It's been
so
a while.
it's-
If you haven't read
yeah.
it,
But
Can I ask a
spoiler
question before we
alert
go
there.
though? Where did the concept of Injustice start? Was it first a video game and then
comic
something else?
first.
So comic first.
Comic first. It was a big build up in the comics, and then they made
Okay.
the game out of the comic.
See, that's
Well,
how much I don't know.
Isn't the game just a button masher beat 'em up?
Yes, but it's still the storyline to it is still really good because it's just copying from that.
So there's an actual storyline in the game.
Yes,
Okay, I thought it was like
Like that you
old
play
school
through?
Yes, you actually
Mortal
play through
Kombat,
it.
like
and you play
punch 'em up.
in a certain part. You play Batman's side and then play Superman's side to get both sides of it. So basically, it starts off with Batman and Superman being best friends right now. Lois Lane, Clark Kent's Superman's wife, is pregnant with their son right now, probably 6 months pregnant. I just guessed that, never really explained it. With them, Lois Lane gets kidnapped by the Joker. Joker has this big old plan to basically ruin the Justice League, basically destroy the world in a sense. He had figured out the perfect plan in my eyes. This plan couldn't have been beaten by any other person. It was just perfect. He basically kidnaps Lois Lane, taking her to an underground submarine that they stole from the military or something, and then they start doing surgery on her. They plant a ticking time bomb that's connected to a bomb in Metropolis that he's going to blow up to Lois's heart. And if Lois's heart stops at any point, the bomb will go set off in Metropolis. So Superman finds that out. He flies to the submarine, tries to get her out. Right before he grabs her, Joker throws scare gas that he stole from Scarecrow, and it's infused with kryptonite so it could get in Superman's bloodstream. Basically, he started seeing shit. So he sees Doomsday right in front of him when he looks up. Doomsday, he starts fighting Doomsday, and Doomsday is, of course, one of his worst enemies to fight with. He starts bringing Doomsday up to the middle of the atmosphere. Started beating the shit out of him. The gas starts to wear off. He realizes it's Lois Lane, his wife, that he has been throwing full-blown punches to a human woman who's pregnant.
With his child.
With his child.
Yeah.
The most brutal death I've ever seen in a series. It made me cry because I was not expecting.
And that's issue 1.
Yeah, that's literally the start of this series. There's only death coming through this entire series.
I do have one question so far. So going back to the fact that Lois Lane is pregnant, did they ever smell her belly? Because you can tell when a woman is 6 months pregnant because her belly will smell like cantaloupes.
They didn't mention that part, but I'm assuming it happened.
Is this similar to the ground smelling like cucumbers when a
it's similar
tornado's
to that
coming?
because they go through melon smells. They start with
Right,
honeydew,
of course.
and you know that the lady is ripe when she starts to smell of watermelon.
I
see.
never want to hear those words come out of your mouth ever again on this podcast. Don't
Watermelon?
ever say them again. You know exactly which ones they were. Don't ever say them again. You know which ones they were.
Do you not like melons?
I'm a real melon felon, if you ask me. But what you said was no.
I'm so confused right now. But anyway, back to your topic.
I also love melons, but so basically, Superman fucks up his wife and baby. They're so dead. He gets washed over with so much rage over him that he flies to where Batman has taken the Joker at this point to interrogate him in Gotham, and Superman busts through the wall and he shoves his entire fist with no hesitation, like before Batman can react with anything, through Joker's heart and through his chest and kills him immediately. With the start of that, Batman sees that Superman has been taken over with rage and grief and stuff. Superman goes into hiding at the Fortress of Solitude for a while because he needs to grieve over things, and he's just been watching the news of all the war and everything that's been happening. Metropolis also destroyed, guys, and the world's in shambles right now because of this. So Superman gets the idea that Lois wanted him to protect the world, so he wants to go basically full dictatorship over the entire world and stop. He asked for a ceasefire for the entire world, and if you refuse his orders, he will come there and force the ceasefire. Well, basically that starts the war between humans and Superman and all the superheroes, because all the superheroes are on Superman's side about this because they know they messed up. At one point, the president even does a plan to kidnap Superman's parents and keep them hidden with Mirror Master, and Batman finds it out and basically tells him, "You've just basically ruined everything for us, like against them." He was like, "We have no chance against the superhumans because they're all going to be on Superman's side. They've been friends with him. He saved the world countless times." That's basically what Superwoman.
Plus, if they go against him, he could just end them.
He's
And
unstoppable.
He does.
Not to mention that that Superman is the Boy Scout. He is the truest of code, to a T. You know, they're going to follow him because of that. And once they see that it has gotten bad enough for him to break that, it's over.
So he essentially went from lawful good to lawful evil.
He has gone, yes, basically, but his evil is still good in his eyes, though.
Well, most lawful evil people see what
that,
they're
yeah.
doing as the right thing, just like Professor Umbridge in Harry Potter. Everything that she was doing, she saw as the right thing, the way everything should be, when in actuality, it was just like some of the worst things that could happen.
And during this, so Superman has all these other heroes, like Green Lantern is a part of his whole thing. Wonder Woman,
Basically the entire Justice League besides Batman,
yeah.
Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson still
What's your
kind of.
mouth? What's your mouth?
Sorry, you said
It's Richard Grayson, okay?
Richard
Yeah.
Grayson.
Sorry, it's Dick Grayson, but
So yeah, Batman's got this underground squad of heroes that are going against.
mostly just Gotham people too, because you
Yeah.
even get Gordon. Well, Superman first tells the entire world of Bruce Wayne. He actually tweets it out. Bruce Wayne is Batman. That's a whole hashtag thing. I thought that part was kind of dumb to me, though. I was like, I don't need hashtags and shit.
It's for the kids.
Yeah, it's for not me. And
That's how the news spreads so fast now.
I died. I didn't agree with my death. My death was
Yeah,
pointless the
your
way that
death-
it happened.
just every death in this entire series is brutal.
Because my death happened to where it's like they just completely negated the fact that Shazam is powered by gods and magic and gets his retinas burned out all the way through to his brain and killed by Superman's heat vision. Like, I get it. Superman's a little bit buffed in this. He's a little OP in this kind of storyline, but just negating all of that, but that's also my favorite character, just dying because he disagreed with something that the Grand Dictator said of the regime.
Right.
Is there any heroes on on Batman's side at all?
Yeah. You got Nightwing. You have Green Arrow, Black Canary, Martian Manhunter. Aquaman is kind of part of it. Aquaman is having problems with Superman because Superman's even trying to control the underwater part.
I said heroes. I said like good ones. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so no.
No, all the good ones are on the super side.
Aquaman is equal in Superman's power when he's underwater, not when he's in
Just
the
because
ocean.
he has his own movie don't mean he's.
I mean, it wasn't a. I didn't even watch the movie.
I'm just kidding. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a question.
So-
he had a question.
It wasn't a question so much as a statement. Number one, I actually enjoyed the Aquaman movie. Number two, Shazam and Superman, they're basically the same hero. They have the same powers.
Incorrect.
No,
But it
not
comes
true.
from a
Not
different
whatsoever.
source. Different sources, different
source,
powers.
same
So different.
abilities.
So different.
Shazam's a
Yeah,
child.
but you as a DM should appreciate the distinction.
Well, I do appreciate the childlike aspect, but the powers are the same.
They're not the same at all.
Fly,
They're very
super
different.
strength, can jump real high, withstand bullets,
Well,
laser eyes.
They don't. Shazam
No,
doesn't
Shazam
have laser
doesn't have
eyes.
I know you're a big Superman. You're a Superman fan all the way.
This is correct.
And I know this with you. I'm not a great Superman fan. I'm more Batman's side.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
is just respectable and understandable. But this series made me enjoy Superman more as a character with his development as a person. He absolutely destroys Aquaman by getting literally four of the strongest of the Justice League and picking up Atlantis. When Aquaman is literally attacking the entire world, they pick up Atlantis and take it to the Sahara Desert. Literally goes, here's dry mouth. You can't do shit against me now. Yeah. Like literally destroy. Like I was like, that's mind boggling that you would just think of just taking his whole entire throne and putting it in the driest part in the world. And that was a very smart play by him to stop the entire world, because Aquaman just basically says, you beat me, but if you need help, he tells Wonder Woman at one point. Wonder Woman also sucks in this series. Wonder Woman is my least favorite character anyway. I never liked her character development so far. And in this, like, Aquaman tells her, when Superman needs help or needs advice, tell him to come to me. Wonder Woman does not tell Superman that, and Superman just hates Aquaman at this point. And I thought that was really...
Well, it's because she didn't trust him, so she wanted to make sure that Superman didn't trust him either.
mean, yeah, but, like, they also didn't trust Sinestro, and then Sinestro
Right.
basically gave Superman invincibility with basically Superman gets the yellow ring and becomes a Yellow Lantern, and that's really bad. Literally
So he
for the
just leveled
entire
up
world.
even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so many stories of Superman becoming the villain.
I think he's good as a villain.
But
He is a good.
He's a good villain.
Unless you watch Brightburn, because then it's
that was just poorly written.
it's just very very poorly very
but
poorly done.
This, I think, of all Superman being the bad boy, this is the best showing of that.
This made me
Because
like
it
him
goes
more.
all out for many episodes. I mean, 2 video games, and
I mean, there's how many
Episodes.
comics, and it's like,
I don't even remember how many issues there is, but there are a lot.
and
of
with
video games.
Superman basically destroys. He is the strongest human being, or strongest being. Like there is,
Being,
yeah. Darkseid has no match for him. Literally, even the like Greek gods get involved.
Hold on.
That's
We're
awesome.
forgetting about Martian Manhunter. He also has like crazy strength.
Yeah, but what
But
is
he's
his
fire.
what's his weakness? Yeah,
Fire
but
from
what's-
Superman's eyes.
What's easier to find, kryptonite or
Fire.
Fire.
So
Depending on the universe.
you want me to tell you about how Manhunter's part of this series is?
Sure.
If you're a Manhunter fan, basically Martian Manhunter is on Batman's side. He
As he
infiltrates.
should be.
Yes, as he should be. I agree with that. He infiltrates the. I don't even want to call them the Justice League now. It's like,
The metahuman side.
yeah, the
In
metahuman side.
Justice League.
That's what
Well, that's
they,
already
that's
a
what they
thing.
call
No.
them. I forgot they call them that, the metahuman side as well. Martian Manhunter believes that Superman is in the wrong because he watched his entire planet get destroyed by a tyrant, like the same way Earth is going to be. The Justice League figures that out, that he is a spy. They try to fight him, and then Wonder Woman tries to grab him at one point, and he shapeshifts into her body and goes into her throat, trying to cut off the circulation. And Superman's standing there, he doesn't know what to do, and then Wonder Woman says, "Blast me with or basically hit me with your heat vision." So he burns Martian Manhunter alive inside of Wonder Woman. Yeah, like,
And she can take
That's
it for the most part because,
but it's at full blast. Like,
she's
he's doing
super
full
strong,
blast, as
so,
they
yeah.
say. And basically just incinerates him in it. And that's like the end of his story. Like that was like issue 2.
We're gonna go ahead and get this out of the way.
Like he's just
right
gonna
now.
be dying because he was basically the only equal that they had without what comes forward and the rest of the story.
Yeah, in the Injustice arc, he is basically that he's OP in the whole thing because everything that comes up against him, it's just like he's not holding back anymore. So basically, what they show in all the previous iterations, at least in that universe, he's showing that he's been throttled the entire time. He's worried about the casualties and the loss of life and the destruction that he could cause to everything, and now he just doesn't give one single damn, and he just. He's going ham, and it's bad when Superman goes ham.
Yeah.
Even the Green Lanterns, like the entire Green Lantern army,
The core.
basically comes to stop him. Well, first they send a group with like Kilowog and a couple others to come get him, and a Squirrel Green Lantern who they outplay this guy. They outplay Superman with this because he the Squirrel's thoughts. I don't know what his name is. I can't remember.
There's an apostrophe in the middle of it. It's a weird name. It's like the sound a squirrel makes, basically. I think Austin is googling it.
But he can also
we'll see it shortly.
Control minds, kind of, with his ring. In a sense, make him. What is it? Chip.
It's only consonants.
CH''P.
Chip.
Oh, I was close, right?
Yeah, kind
God,
of.
I hate it when people do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Give me a vowel, please.
So remember that time that I
those.
said Marcus is the king of hating?
That's different. Y'all can't just lump everything into one category and accuse me of it.
Your friends did. You read us the text messages.
That's true.
Well, yeah, the Squirrel, super powerful, stops Superman's mind, and this is the first attempt the Green Lantern to have on him, and then Sinestro decides to put a spike through the Squirrel's head. If you
kind of like DC, but you're like, it's not really for me, and you like the darker kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Injustice
Definitely sounds like I'd be into it.
Yeah, Injustice is definitely the world that you want to get into. If you want something grittier and that doesn't hold back, like this is the one. And they could do whatever they want because it's an Elseworlds story. Like it's not the main storyline.
But yeah, if you're really kind of into, if you've never really been into DC, I think this is a good way to start. Not the best way to start, but
it might be for someone like me who is just uber metal.
But you know
you're
DC
so
stuff,
metal.
right? You know some DC stuff.
I mean, as your like average fan, sure.
Yeah, okay, so you can enjoy it.
A very casual fan.
Because it's not like, I don't know how many build-up issues there are to Injustice.
It just kind of starts like it's definitely its own thing, but knowing the characters already helps because you're seeing like how crazy it is they're making the decisions that they're making.
Have they put them all out in like one big
You can
release,
find them
like
in
a graphic novel style?
Yeah, you can find it.
Nice.
Books Million probably has it.
That'd
Or
be cool.
something online.
Or if you wanted to just play the video game on your PS4, you get most of the story told to you just right in playing the video game. It differs a lot in the comics from what's exactly happened in the video game.
Yeah, they don't go like straight from the comic.
It's the video game inspired by the comics, so it's like you get the synopsis, but
There it is again.
I'm smacking
it's
it.
the only one you know.
Synopsis.
Your synapses are all
I keep seeing
snapping the wrong way.
I keep seeing things in the wrong light. No, the synopsis is there, but not the fine tuning that's in the comics. If that makes any sense.
Right, yeah. I mean, if I'm looking for the story, I would want to go to the comics.
It's like
not
a book and a
necessarily
movie.
video
I mean,
games.
it
Yeah.
is a book and a
Also,
playable
Harley
movie.
Quinn is really good in this series.
Yeah, great character.
And Alfred, literally, why are we skipping that? Alfred is literally one of the best characters in that series and has the most impactful thing, in my opinion.
When Alfred became a Red Lantern from all of his rage, like I was absolutely blown away.
I mean, Alfred is one of the best characters
That never
in
happened.
DC anyway.
I was like, why would you say that? Why would you say that?
I don't want to have to
But he
cook Master
does.
Bruce one more meal.
He does body Superman at one point where he headbutts him and breaks his nose. And I was like, that's dope, Alfred. You're like 70 years old, probably 100. But he took a
His
poo.
bush hair all over the toilet seat.
Imagine cleaning a Brillo pad with a Brillo pad.
Speaking of bush hair, so we have all these Justice League characters, and I'm moving our way back into the canon kind of baseline, DC storyline, universe, Earth 1, whatever that. And I'm wondering what all of the main Justice League characters, will say the main 5, what their Tinder profiles would look like if they were trying to get on the dating scene.
And members of the Justice League?
Ooh, so main 5 consist of Superman, Batman, Flash,
Wonder Woman, and
Green Lantern. Or you can go Martian Manhunter. I mean, he was also...
Well, he also did some work, though, with, like, some other versions of Justice League, like, around, so...
Or Cyborg.
Hawkgirl was part of it.
Cyborg, yeah, but Hawkgirl was in the animated series, but she's also one that kind of comes and goes.
You're right.
As far as, like, a Justice League.
So Green
Unlimited.
Lantern.
So, yeah.
Well, I feel like Bruce Wayne's, because it would be Bruce Wayne, right? Not Batman?
No, it'd be Batman.
Okay, that I don't know.
Because Batman's into
Batman's
some...
would probably have some sort of, like,
Look,
Thunder Dungeon.
I already know what Batman's would be, okay? It would be an outside picture. It would be at night, and he would be backlit by a street lamp.
Okay.
He would have his cape kind of pulled around him, where like his emblem on his chest is just peeking out.
Maybe a Bat Nipples suit, too.
Well, it just covers the bipples. If there was to be bipples on this particular suit,
There would be.
The Tinder profile
And-
suit would be the Clooney reference.
Yes,
would be the that'd be
and his
Clooney.
head would be slightly cocked to the left and slightly declined down.
Okay.
And he'd give you this like seductive like bedroom eye.
But what would it say?
Yeah. What would I want to know what his bio would say.
It'd be like likes long walks on the beach at night.
Candlelit dinners
likes
at night,
to
of
go
course.
spelunking at night.
Or
Cannot stand anything other than justice at night.
I like the idea
Want to explore
of
your bat cave at night.
I had something and then I just kept thinking at night. And then but no, you get Batman would say, "Oh gosh, dadgummit! Now I'm just stuck on
Now
at
it's all
night
at
being
night, yeah,
whispered
because
in
that's
my
all it
ear.
can be
Just
now.
he's infiltrated
That's it.
my mind with at
Yes.
night. Oh no, Batman would say, find out what the commissioner thinks whenever I disappear right as soon as we're done.
At night.
All right,
Maybe
so-
a picture of him in the Batmobile, just to show off the cool car.
Yeah.
See, I think Superman would have a hard time not having his look like what Clark Kent's would be like.
He would just have a
'Cause
picture of a red bulge
He'd be in a field.
in a sea of blue
This is what I am. I'm this super.
with 3 heads.
as we've explained in the
Yes.
past.
Wait, he
You
has.
would know that, wouldn't you? Guess
Hold-
Grape.
I don't even know that. Are you saying that Superman's got 3 penis heads?
I hope so.
We talked that it may have, some sort of...
Okay,
Probably too.
I
He's
remember
an
that.
alien.
Okay.
We haven't seen it. We have seen Batman's in the comic.
Yeah.
So we've-
I'm tracking now. I remember now.
Are
saw
you?
the Batwiener.
The
All
Flash.
right.
We did see the Batwing.
I've got this. Are you looking for sex that's out of this world?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Or just a picture of him, literally, chilling on the moon. We
Oh,
can go on
that'd be
dates
good.
to the moon if you want.
You can't breathe, but
You could wait for
You don't
the.
need to.
You could wait for the. You could wait for the perfect man for a lifetime, or find the one. Kryptonite.
Oh my
You
god.
could.
Yeah.
you
You'd
could
have to have
wait.
some bad one.
Because.
Kryptonite.
Or it could be like,
Hey, baby.
will you be my kryptonite?
Is
Yeah,
it?
that's
You wanna
good
come
too.
Back to my kryptonite.
Kryptonite.
Yeah, kryptonite.
Yeah. That's better than mine.
yeah,
I wasn't any good.
a lot
Come
better.
back to my
Yeah, no.
kryptonite.
Mine wasn't good at all.
Yeah,
You was trying, and I appreciate the effort,
Thanks.
sir.
Favorite song, "Fly Me to the Moon" by Frank Sinatra.
The Flash.
Perfect.
The Flash would easily be pictures of him going through time and just being like him traveling.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. And then probably his bio would be
Done in
I'm-
60 seconds.
Ooh, that's I don't even want to say mine now. Great.
I did mine bad one. What was
Yeah.
your bad one?
No, it was
no. What's your bad
I'm quick
one?
to the spot, but not quick in the bedroom. So it'd be
Oh,
something.
okay, so he's having to defend himself because he's known for speed.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Ever made a one-night stand lasts 10 lifetimes?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Something like that.
No,
you and
no,
me
I really
entwined
like that.
in time.
Wonder Woman's going to be a dommy mommy,
Oh,
Yes, she
And-
is.
oh,
Yeah.
10 foot tall, Tommy, mama.
Yeah,
She's got a whip.
yeah.
How could she not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's gonna be like, go ahead and text all your friends. Go ahead and text all your friends, all your buddies, and tell all your best friends that you're. Go ahead and call all of them and text them too, and tell them you're gonna be all tied up tonight, so you're not gonna. You're not gonna make those plans you had with them.
Because she has a lasso.
Because you're all, you're gonna be all tied up tonight. That's what hers would say.
Now, Green Lantern would
got it going on like an Amazon.
Okay, that's good.
is Green
I'd
Lantern
lick her boots.
Hal Jordan or is it Jon Stewart? How Green Lantern?
Ooh.
Because that depends.
Jon
That's
Stewart.
John Stewart.
No.
I
Jon
like
Stewart's
the
like-
idea of the John Stewart though.
Guy Gardner.
Ooh, I mean,
Oh, you're throwing Guy in there.
I think Guy needs to be in there just because you have to have this angry douchebag on Tinder.
Okay.
but wasn't the original Jon Stewart?
The original
I think
was
you mean Patrick Stewart.
no.
The original was Alan Scott. Patrick Stewart, the Green Lantern.
Oh gosh, I'd watch that if he played Alan Scott.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Imagine that.
That'd be amazing.
Wouldn't that be
Now,
something?
what
So
does
it's
his
not
Tinder
Jon
profile
Stewart.
say?
I'm wrong about that.
What does Patrick Stewart, as the character you just said's Tinder profile say?
Make it so.
I've
Picard.
Well, no. If you're doing Patrick Stewart playing Alan Scott, Green Lantern, exploring alternative sex styles, allow me to light your way.
That is good. I think
styles.
it would say, did you ever watch The Next Generation?
I was there.
Because we're on Star Trek. We're on Trek for a good night together. You and me. If we keep this up, we're on a good. We're on a trek straight to love.
Well, me and you
to
make the next generation.
Ooh.
Dang, that's good.
To boldly
I like
go
that.
to boldly go where no knuckles have gone before.
If it's Jon Stewart, though, I think it would just be like, if this hot girl on my profile, can you please talk to me?
Yes.
No, but Shazam's would be someone call Chris Hansen because he's a little boy in a superhero suit.
What'd you say right over there?
What about Spawn? Well,
Spawn is not in the Justice League.
I know, but I
sorry.
just want to know what his Tinder profile would say.
Oh no!
We're
In
gonna
for a
have
hell
a
of a
hell
good
of a
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that was pretty good.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains come from me.
That's good. I like that.
And I believe with those chains, we've whipped up another episode. Thank you all for listening to Nerds of the Grapevine on podcasts, things like iTunes and Spotify and Podcatcher and Good Pods. There's a long list. The list goes on and continues and never ends. But iTunes specifically has this like 5-star rating thing. And if you could give us all 5 stars, or Injustice Superman will find you, and we cannot promise that you will end up okay after that encounter. So 5 stars for your safety and for ours, and a little description of why you like us. It would be really, really nice.
And if you're feeling a little bit invulnerable because you're powered by the gods and Superman actually wouldn't kill you with his heat vision like it did in that comic, get on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Nerd Grapevine and find us on there. Talk to us about it a little bit. Or if you wanted to get on the Patreon account at Best Friends Tiny Inc. You'd be able to donate a little bit and receive a holographic sticker from Nerd Through the Grapevine that Dane has created, and be able to unlock some future content that we're going to be coming out with. And we've been working on this stuff for a long time, and you guys are going to have first access on the Patreon if you want it. So and that leaves us to that situation where you've got one side versus the other, and then you walk into this house and you see this man walk into the room where you weren't expecting this man to walk in the room, and it causes your heart to have a little bit of
Arrhythmia. So you can also find us on Discord. There is a link in the description. It takes you right to us. Come hang out with all the grapes. You okay there, buddy?
Nope, he's not going to make it.
We're live, uncut, uncensored. There's a meme channel. You can see what we've made canon. You can see my terrible tabs, which I'm going to post this last episode's and the one before that, which I've not posted yet. And yeah, check us out. It'll be super awesome.
And now we come to that time when the cosmic grapevine doth bestow upon you grapes. Guest grape, Chris.
Talking about a little outro here?
When
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I'm so glad you listened to the podcast because that's exactly what it is. That's what they do. The outro.
Do I need to do the outro song?
No, that's
when life gives you grapes.
Yeah. That's the outro thing. That's what
Sorry,
we do
I made
all
it-
the
I made
time.
it too epic.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I love the grapes. They're here for it.
so we've not. Boy, oh boy!
So when life gives you grapes, they're just going to be big fans.
Yeah,
right.
They're always going to be big fans.
I'm so glad.
That's the best one yet.
Yeah, it is. Honestly,
They're pretty juiced to listen to you.
I had an outro
So
ready in
whatever
my
you
head
had to
already
say.
too.
What are you? What were you singing? Are you singing the Dunna Dunna song?
No,
Is that-
I had lyrics ready for it.
Okay, please.
You want me to go for you?
Yeah, please.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Now you know my boy Marcus is pissing.
Hey, that will happen for an entire episode too.
He does listen.
He had so much first PP in those testicles.
the floor is so
It's
wet.
going to happen again soon, I'd say.
I honestly can't wait to listen to the only second episode I've ever listened to of the podcast. Both have been with me, so it's fun.